Welcome back. Today I am making a watering bucket for my chicken. The chicken is a rooster I call Pirate. Last winter he lost both of his feet. You can check out his story. I have it up in the corner. So let's go ahead and get this started. Alright, so the tools I'll be using today. I'll be using a jigsaw. I'll be using a drill. I'll be using a compass to draw a circle. I'll be using a bit driver to drive in some screws. I have a 11/32 drill bit. You can use a 3/8. It's just will be a little smaller. I have a marking device, measuring device, a hole saw. I have a couple of clamps. I've got my bucket. 5-gallon bucket. I have found that the white buckets from Lowe's work a lot better than the blue buckets. I have a screw-on lid. I've got 4 watering nipples. Another measuring device to measure the diameter around at this point. Because I take the handle off, I do not hang it from the handle. I hang it from a piece of wood. So I'll be cutting a hole in this and then applying these pieces of wood around the border to help support the wood. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I want to put the lid on the bucket. So let me put the camera on the tripod and we'll get to doing that. So if you have a tip on how to put this lip on, this ring, go ahead and post it below. It's a struggle for me to put it on there, but I can get it. It just takes a little bit of effort. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm take this handle off. Like I said, I will not be using this handle. Alright, so when I put the nipples in, I try to go real close to the, you can see where right there is the bottom, so I try to go a little bit below. I use these little pieces of plastic to make sure they're in about the same place. Okay, let me use a marker. Alright, so I got my 4 places I want to drill. You get the drill set up and I'm going to go ahead and drill the 4 holes. Alright, so when you drill these holes, you want to make sure, since this is a metal bit going into plastic, at the last little bit it may just catch and pull the whole blade in. Now it does seem to go better if you go all the way down the drill bit. So if I go all the way down, it seems to make a really nice hole. Alright, this is what I didn't want to happen. Got a little burr there, now I have to cut it off really carefully. Alright, got that one cleaned up. Alright, so I got all my holes drilled. They look to be a good distance from the bottom. Alright, before I put my nipples in, I'm going to kind of get ready for drilling my hole here. So I know that it is a little over 11 inches diameter at this edge right here. So I'm going to go ahead and get my compass and put it at 5.5 inches. All right. All right, so we got our circle done. 11 inches exactly. Okay, so the hole saw. There'll be times where you're going to want to take this bucket out, to dump it out, to clean it. And if you have nipples in here, you're not going to get it out. So what I do is I take a hole saw and I'll drill 4 holes all the way around. So that way I can take the bucket out. If you were worried about tear out on the back side, you could easily just turn it over and go through the pilot hole and it wouldn't have tear out. I don't think the chickens are going to care. Alright, so next thing I want to do is I want to get my jigsaw out and cut out the big circle. Alright, well, let's see how well I did. A little too tight, so I need to make it a little bit bigger. Not much, just a little bit bigger. Okay, so I got it fitting pretty good. The next thing I want to do is I want to put these blocks of wood on. And what they'll be doing is stiffening up this frame. Okay, so you can see how I can bend it this way and not this way. I recommend putting your long pieces on the way that it bends. Because what I'll be doing later on is I'll be drilling holes through here and putting paracord, and if you have this here, it still will bend at the ends. So I've been using this style of nipple for a while, ones that go on the side of the bucket. I have in the past used the ones that go on the bottom, and they work pretty well, but they end up freezing every once in a while. These do also, they'll freeze up, but what happens is the water right here will freeze. There's a little pool of water that sits there. So what I do when it gets down to like -20, I'll just turn it sideways a little bit. Just turn it off to the side. That way the water that usually sits in here will pour off, will run off. And since I started doing that, I don't have any problems with these anymore. So the reason I like the white buckets. In the past I have used the blue buckets, and this is what I find happens. After a while the blue bucket will crack and it'll start to leak. So, and I haven't had this problem with the white bucket since I started using the white ones. So I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a crack right there. Okay, so the way you put these guys in, you just stick it in the hole, make sure it's lined up straight, and start screwing it in. Since it is tapered, it kind of sets itself in there. I don't go all the way down. I do go quite a ways. Alright. So you can see how much of a gap is still in there. Okay, so something else about these nipples is even though the chicken can't really get in there, somehow debris and stuff still gets inside the bucket. And so every once in a while you'll find one that's dripping, and what I'll need to do is I'll just need to reach my hand in there and push this in and grab the back, because there's probably some type of debris inside the valve. So just push it in and pull the debris out. I got my holes drilled in the corner for the rope. Hopefully a paracord will fit through that. If not, I'll just have to make it a little bit bigger. I know one was off center, so but it looks like they will still all just fit just fine. Okay, so the bucket I got at Lowe's, the lid I got at Lowe's. It's just one of these screw type ones. I think the bucket was, I don't know, $5-7 up here in Alaska, and so is the lid. There is one more thing that I do to this. Since this is a watering system and we do live in Alaska, I do drill a hole right there for the cord. I use one of these bucket de-icers. It's 250 watts, pretty sure it is. Yep, 250 watts. It works great in these buckets. I've been using them for years. When drilling a hole through plastic with a hole saw, it is easier to drill backwards. So I went through with the pilot bit forward and I put it in reverse. I'm going backwards now. Alright, there we go. Got our hole. And here's this. I'm just going to stick it in the bottom of the bucket. Put the cord through. Alright, so there's the setup. Just have to run the rope and take it outside. I have my rope threaded through. Basically I got two pieces of rope that I went corner to corner. Now I've looped it down. Now I'm running the cord up top through. And I'm tying a taut line knot. I'll show you how to do that in another video. Basically, a taut line is a adjustable knot. So it'll hold itself there, it'll hold all this weight real good. But if I want to, I can adjust it real easily. And it'll still hold. Now that I have this here, when I pull down, it's these two aren't very tight compared to the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to loosen this knot up and move it up a little bit. Okay, now it seems pretty good. Alright, next step is to get electricity to this guy and fill it up. Oh look, parrot's already clicking at it, so I guess I'll go fill that up first. Now I don't like tightening it all the way down, because what will end up happening is once the water gets real low, frost will keep that lid from opening. So I like having it a little loose. That way I can break it loose easier. But there you go, there's the setup. Alright, so I've got the watering system going. Got full of water. Got it plugged into the electricity. A little pool of water down there. That's what will freeze when it gets really, really cold. The water inside won't freeze, just this. So what I do is I turn it a little bit so the water will run off and won't pool up there. Hey, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. Thanks for watching.